what do you think the main pop girls are reading?
I really wanted to get Dr. Taylor Swift a present to say thank you, but obviously what do you get the woman who has everything? And so, and I don't think I've ever said this publicly anywhere, so this is fresh off the press. Hi. I thought we might do it at the same time and that might be sort of a Twinhood moment.
No, I thought we'd take it in turns, so I did last week and it's back to you.
That's so classic us. Can't even agree subconsciously. Hi everybody, welcome back to Twinhood.
Hi guys.
Hi guys. Hi Queen. Ellen, today I literally walked into your room and at the same exact moment, in the same exact tone, we both went, hi Queen.
I know. It was such a monotone hi Queen.
It was
hi Queen.
Hi Queen.
Another really weird twinning thing. You came into my room being like, should we go get an iced coffee? And I was literally like thinking, oh my God, I should go get an iced coffee. So
wow, it's honestly, again, literally crazy.
Just two girls.
So obviously last week's episode, we spoke lots on careers as two career women.
Mm-hmm.
I've actually got a bit of a surprise for you, Queen.
I'm really scared.
So to circle back, do you remember how in the last episode we were talking about how on your CV you did some sort of fictionalizing of events that may have happened, but they didn't when you said you worked for Maisie Peters LLC for 2 years on your CV. And we talked about how luckily Harry's never been asked to write you a reference. But it really got me thinking afterwards, like, what would Harry say if he wrote you a reference?
Stop.
So I messaged my king and I said, hey King, I know you're really busy, but if you could write me a reference for Ellen, that would be great. And he sent me one over that night. Would you like to hear it?
I'd love to hear it.
This is what Harry would tell your future employers.
Oh, good Lord.
Ellen Peters, a reference. Ellen is a well-liked member of our workforce whose character will be missed by many, inclusive of myself, somewhat. In flashes, she's formidable. In other moments, she's precarious. She's both strong-minded and strong-willed, unafraid of speaking her mind, a quality I admire and fear equally.
So true.
As Ellen has matured, her verbal filter has tightened. She's managed to put an important, but by no means concrete, barrier between thought and speech. Some would say Ellen is capable of oversharing. I think there's an honesty in that. A bystander, Ellen is not. She brings a more main character energy. I am cautious that she's capable of logging onto her laptop at 9 a.m. and then popping up for a coffee at 9:30. What do you think?
Too real. Harry Villas, you've got me down to a T. Yeah, I see no flaws in that.
Sending him out.
Yeah.
So if anyone's interested in hiring this queen, and she's not for hire. We've got her locked down here at Twinhood Corp.
Yeah, sorry guys. But at least I know I've got good prospects in my future escapades.
Yeah, whatever those escapades may be, I'm afraid. But yeah.
Stunning. Thanks, Harry. If those are real heartfelt words, then how do you do it? Thanks, Harry.
What's been going on with you?
Oh my God, speaking of work. I've had my first Twinhood sourced
celeb moment.
So obviously, you know, I've told you guys before, I work in events, specifically sustainability events. So part of my job is getting people to come to my events. And I normally do this in a very chill, just, hey girl, do you want to come to my event? Like I'm never...
To the 40-year-old sustainable farmer, Keith.
So I was just adding people that work in sustainability on LinkedIn, you know, the LinkedIn warrior I am. And I get this really, really lovely message from this girl saying, my ADHD queen. And I was like, that's me.
Wait, read out the message.
Should I read it out?
Yeah, it was so
okay.
cute.
I am sorry, ... the, in capitals, Ellen Peters just connected with me on LinkedIn. As in my fellow ADHD queen, ... who delivers my favourite podcast every week. I knew you were in events, but sustainability ? And so when I received that message, I was gagged. I was shook. I was like, literally, what?
And honestly, as the LinkedIn royalty you are, your LinkedIn ego didn't need any more, but honestly, by God, it got some more.
And so I sent it to like my manager and we were like, oh, love this. And she was like, you got to reply. So I was like, okay, I'll reply. And so I was like, well, obviously, like, I still need to kind of do my job. Like, I would.
No, it's good. It's good to still do your job, I suppose, when you're at your job, doing your job.
She's like the perfect person for my event. So I was like, I think I did a good response. Mm-hmm. OMG, hey queen. What a coincidence. So glad you love the pod. You found me in my natural habitat, LinkedIn, lol. I'm actually hosting a sustainability event in London, blah, 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 which is why I connected with you. And she's coming, guys. I hope, Paul, if you can insert a cheer.
The question is it a sustainability event or is it now a Twinhood event?
Is it a Twinhood event?
Cousins everywhere.
I know, which is like, I'm kind of nervous because I'm like, ooh, she's going to see me at my actual job, like actually being serious.
Now, Ellen, think of it. It's not, if you can think in your brain, maybe it's not, it is your job, but it's also kind of a meet and greet.
It's kind of a meet and greet.
It's not a meet and greet.
Oh my God.
One girl who works in sustainability and you're like, hi guys and welcome to my meet and greet.
Literally.
It's TanaCon, but it's environmental.
We should bring some like
sustainability.
Non-existent merch along.
We can give her our first ever merch. That just might be one of my pieces of clothing.
Maybe.
Like, I don't know. We don't really have the budget for merch yet. So. And
I work with a lot of men. And like, so when she registered, it came through on like Slack because it's connected to a form, all that stuff. And I then, because I just had to let every single person I work with know how big a deal this was.
You wanted to play it cool and chill.
I created an emoji for Twinhood on my work Slack. So now we have a Twinhood emoji on the big corporate wide web.
Slack is one of my, lesser used social medias.
The Queen, it popped up so hard. And I'm going to say it here live on the pod. I work with a lot of salespeople. And let me just say, Twinhood might be our number one salesperson at my company.
That's so real.
Twinhood is like doing bits. So I've had to tell everyone I work with, you need to be really chill and really cool at the event.
When this girl turns up, this poor girl.
I was like, don't you dare embarrass me. So yeah, I'm like, if I wasn't already nervous enough.
You won't be sleeping the night before.
No, I've got a meet and greet to do.
It's going to be like Christmas for you, Queen.
I know. I'm going to need to make sure like.
Going to need to pop a lot of melatones.
Maybe I need to like get some security, The
sustainability event of farmers.
Yeah, but like on a real, if you do work in sustainability, let me know. And maybe you can come to my event. Maybe not, but maybe.
So, cousins, this week is a very exciting episode. I personally have been really excited to do an episode like this since we began. This week is centered around our mutual love of reading, of books.
Yippee.
We are both reading fanatics. I'd actually say it's maybe our greatest shared interest.
Yeah.
Obviously, as we're very different, as you've all learned about this by now, but I really feel like one thing we actually have in common is our love and passion for reading.
I know. And it's so unexpected from me.
No, and we'll get into that, but it really is the biggest plot twist of the 21st century, I think. Kindle reveal in 3, 2, 1. These are the backbone of this flat and the backbone of Ellen's mental health and mine.
Yeah, literally. This, like, I once left it in the supermarket and like I literally, it was really traumatic. And I realised when I got on the bus, and when I tell you I sprinted off that bus, it was a traumatic time for me. So yeah, this baby, it's like emotional support, kindy.
Oh, that is literally. So basically, Ellen Queen, I thought we could do a bit of an intro first about, just so we get them all up to date with like sort of the basics of our reading habits. And then we're going to answer some questions that the cousins left on our Goodreads group. You should join if you're hot and cool and love reading like us. We've got 1,600 members now.
That's so cool.
That's so cool. And I like to update. I put all the books I've read on there and I do book reviews so you guys can really know my innermost thoughts, which I don't do anywhere else apart from the Goodreads. So you should get on it. But I'm going to start off just so they can sort of understand us with saying, when was the beginning? So I'm going to ask you and I ask myself. You can go first. When was the beginning of your bookworm journey?
Bookworm journey? Oh, if you want to go right on back. So, guys, as you might know, they probably won't know this actually. My journey, I did take a rather large hiatus. And when I say rather large hiatus...
You mean your whole life?
I do mean about, like, genuinely 15 years. But that just goes to show it's never too late, guys.
It's never too late.
So I mean, where to start? I'd say, well, actually, shout out to our girl Sophia from Sophia and Cinzia. She created like a book club, and like it was just on my TikTok algorithm. And I mean, I won't go too much into it because there's a whole lot of lore we can cover later. But I think I got the first Akatar book because it was like going viral on the internet.
And when was that? Last year?
Yeah, it was last year.
It's so funny because that seems so recently you've read so much since then.
Yeah.
But that's crazy. It was only last year that you really got into it.
Yeah. I mean, I read on holiday last year, but like as in reading consistently like every day, I'd say it was only from like December, November last year. And I've made up for it though, guys. I'm trying to like read all the cult classics at the moment, and then I can like have a treat. Yeah, that's where I started. And shout out to TikTok for making a book go viral and then me reading it. But then I also think I wanted a hobby. Like, I don't feel like I have a hobby. And so I was like, reading can be my hobby. And then I always like thought, oh, I can't pay attention because I've got ADHD. And I kind of used that as an excuse. But once I realized you can if it's a good book,
yeah,
then that's fine. What about you, Queen? Out of the womb.
So I have been a bookworm, I would say, for my whole life. I literally, when I was a child, I remember just reading and reading and reading. I remember being sat in my childhood bedroom, like reading next to the radiator. When mum and dad would turn the lights off, the way I would rebel was I would read under the covers with a torch when I was like a child. And I was also reading insanely adult books. I really remember reading the Poisonwood Bible, like super young, which for the girls who know, it's kind of crazy. I felt like I was like maybe 10 or 11. So yeah, mum and dad just really let me read whatever I wanted. So I read a book called American Wife, I'm pretty sure, which is about like one of the Kennedys. Anyway, so yeah, I was reading a lot all of my life. I then had MP Book Club, which was a book club that I ran.
I missed that.
I know, it was actually ahead of its time, dare I say. I ran it for a good few years as well, and lots of the cousins potentially were members, and I would interview the authors, which was insane. I got to interview so many cool people.
And they were really big authors, and quite a lot of those authors, I would say, have popped off.
I interviewed such amazing authors. I interviewed Coco Mellors, who obviously wrote Cleopatra and Frankenstein. I interviewed Caleb Azuma Nelson, who wrote Open Water. I interviewed, one of my actual highlights of my life was the woman who wrote The Idiot, who's called Elif Batuman. I interviewed her. I interviewed Caroline O'Donoghue, who wrote The Rachel Incident. And this is all still up, and everyone can go watch it on MP Book Club. But yeah, I ran that for a couple of years, and now it's on a sort of a longer hiatus, but not gone forever. And yeah, so I ran that for a few years, and then yeah, I've been reading a lot my whole life. But I will say I was really slow to come to the Kindle because I loved a physical book. As you can see, these are all my books. I have more upstairs. But I got on the bandwagon. Actually, again, my number one influencer, Ellen, got me on it. And I will say it has, first of all, I've read so much this year. I've read 34 books this year, I think, already, which is kind of impressive for me. And it also has really expanded the amount I read and the type of book I read, because I think because it's so immediate and any book is there and it's just at the touch of your fingertip, I'm reading loads of different types of books I wouldn't usually read, taking a bigger risk on the books that I am choosing, which is so fun. So yeah, love the Kindle. I am a huge convert.
But you know, like I am a big Kindle fan, like the OG, but I do find it like I would love to go to like bookshops, but then like I'd feel too guilty going in the shop and then not buying anything because I only read on my Kindle. But then like I'm not just gonna buy a book to like as a trophy. Like that feels like, I know some people do, but like I don't know, it's not exactly much space.
No, I think maybe what I'll do is at the end of the year, my like top 10 books that I read this year that I loved, maybe I'll buy the physicals of those so I still have them. Because I find that people come around and like look at the bookshelves and it starts conversations on like what people have read and what people love. And yeah, it's just so sweet. I love it in a house. Our parents have lots of books, so I feel like that was my inspo. Ellen, how would you describe your book taste?
I feel like I go in and out of phases, but on the whole, I'd say I love a thriller. I also love kind of like dystopian books as well. I still like, I feel like I'm just touching the surface on dystopian, but that's definitely a topic I like. I also do quite like anything that's set in like World War II.
Historic?
Yeah, but not historic.
Specific on World War II.
Yeah.
Strong.
Yeah. And then I do like a romance, as long as it's not like too silly. So I do like a little feel-good romance. And so I'm just gonna add one more to the mix. Is I do like a like anything that I feel like I can relate to. So anything really centered about a woman in their this is so specific, but women in their 20s and like them going through life and like the highs and the lows. I feel like that is a genre. Like whenever I'm on TikTok, I'd like literally type in books for women in their 20s.
I would say I really like, I guess, like literary fiction. I love a long...
You love the classics.
I love a classic. I love a long novel.
Oh my God.
I specifically love like a 600-page sweeping...
Something you can really get your teeth into.
Like multiple generations of a family.
You love the Tudors.
I love the Tudors. Yeah, that's sort of my side hustle is the Tudors. But yeah, like literary fiction, women's fiction, I guess. I read a lot of books by female authors.
Yeah, I find that I really like, it's a real struggle to like...
Read a book by a man.
Yeah.
God forbid. Didn't know they could write. Didn't know they could read. But yeah, that's probably my taste. Literary fiction, women's fiction, bit of historic fiction as well.
Serious books.
Maisie,
sometimes I'm like, Maisie, you can like read a slightly like fun book.
Although I will say, and we'll get onto this, I've actually tried in recent times bridging out and reading some of the books that you love that are maybe a bit less quote unquote serious. And has it been a good result for you?
You've just like, your mind is too clever now. Like
I'm too evolved.
Yeah. But something that we both don't have as like a fave, which I think is really popular in the book talk world, is fantasy. We're both not fantasy people.
No, I'm not really a fan. I think I read a lot of fantasy as a teenager. So maybe I kind of exhausted that as a genre.
I just find it too like silly.
You find it too silly?
I find it too silly. I find it too like...
Didn't you read all of Acast?
Yeah. And that is the one like... And I did find it a bit silly, but like it's very addictive. And like the romances are really what people are there for. Like describing different types of dragons. I'm just like, this feels like work. This feels like I had to keep on rereading things because I was like, what dragon's this? Like, it's just a bit much.
I know. I read the Lord of the Rings sort of when I was a teenager, but when I had to start writing down who everyone was. And at that point, I didn't even have a phone. I was like too young, so I was just writing it down like on a piece of paper, carrying it around with me. I thought, this can't go on. So I think I only did The Hobbit. I don't think I did the rest of them.
And it's like the fact when I was reading like fantasy, I was like, oh, I get to treat myself to a non-fantasy book. And I was like, you know what? I just don't need to read fantasy.
No,
like,
you can enjoy yourself.
Yeah.
God forbid a woman enjoys herself.
Yeah.
Okay, shall we start on some of the questions from our lovely cousins at Goodreads?
Yes.
Do you have a good answer for a book you read in one sitting?
I feel like this is going to come as no surprise, but pretty much in one sitting was The Housemaid.
A hot topic on Twinhood.
Let's put some respect on the name because there's a reason it's like a bestseller. Like you're telling me all these hundreds of millions of thousands of people all think like it wouldn't be as acclaimed as it is. I think just the way it's written is just like quite addictive. Like,
To be fair, I do it in one sitting basically.
Yeah.
Did I enjoy my one sitting? Not particularly.
I think we need to put Maisie in a timeout for judgment.
To me, The Housemaid though was like a candy floss. It's like really sweet and addictive, but it's not really got that much substance to it. Personally, for me, that's how
I love candy floss.
No, and that's good. That's good. I'm eating banana bread over here. I'm chomping down. It's taking me weeks.
But for me, my favorite feeling in the world is when you get like a really addictive book and you just like you just want to read it. Like for me, that is the enjoyment. Like obviously I care about the plot, but like for me, it's just like being in the zone and wanting to like get back from work so
Just
you can
read
finish
the book.
reading it.
No,
Like
I love that.
I don't really want to have to dissect a book for its hidden meaning.
That's fair enough.
But this is where we differ.
Well, my book that I read in one sitting, which I actually did last week when I got my hair done, I love this book so much. I read it in how many hours? The 6 or 7 hours I was at the hairdressers. I read it on the way there, read it in the hairdressers, read it when I got home and I was done. And it's called Dream Count. It's by Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie. And it's about 4 Nigerian women and like all of their sort of different stories on like love and loss. There was one character I loved called Chia, who was a travel writer, and she's talking about sort of all of her past loves, and it's set sort of during COVID, so she's going back over her life while she's in quarantine, which I also think is really interesting because not many books are set during COVID. And I've seen separate think pieces on how it's crazy that this like massive event happened to all of us and there's so little art and media on it, which is almost like we've all done a collective like what's it called when you like block it out. So I thought that was separately interesting. But yeah, she's a travel writer and she talks about her past loves, and I just thought it was amazing. It was so well written and so moving and so heartfelt, but really gripping, and not, you don't have to wade through it. So yeah, I loved it. I'm going to read more by her. There's a book called Americana, which everyone read at one point. And I feel like we would both like that.
See, okay, I'm going to give you a couple hot takes today. Hot take is I don't love when books have, and I literally wrote this down on my phone, I don't love when books have like different characters and like each, like it keeps on like switching from different point of views, because I always find I have like my favorite point of views and then I'm like, oh, like I don't want to hear this person's point of view. So Evening and Weekends, is it called that?
I think so.
I only gave it, I think, like a 3, because again, I just struggled with like the point of views, and like there were some characters I was like, can we just skip this? And then I also struggle with when it goes from past to present. And I always have a favorite side. Like I prefer when it's just like one consistent story. But like maybe that's just like boring from me.
It's just personal taste.
Yeah.
So yeah, I really like when there's lots of different ones. There's a book called Visit from the Goon Squad, which I love, which has lots of different stories. And I love it when they all intersect. And I like a compilation of short stories as well, which is another one of my recommendations. But anyway, that was my book I read in one sitting. And I recommend it 5 stars.
I feel like we're 2 different eras. It's like sitting with grandma on the sofa. Like I feel like I read like the very much like the viral ones. Like I'm in it for a good time. Whereas I feel like you're the slightly more like intellectual. Not that I'm not intellectual, but like maybe like slightly off the beaten track. Maybe like books that not everyone would know.
Well, maybe that's why it's good, because obviously, as all the cousins know, we are very different. We have very different tastes, but it's almost like for all readers, they can get a recommendation from us.
So true.
We really cover the whole spectrum of readers out here.
I'm going to do how to get yourself out of a reading rut.
You go for it.
I have a couple things. I always find I'm slightly more grit to a book when it's set, like where I live. So for me, I tend to like really like books set in London, and like I feel like when you can relate to it. And my last one is I always find books with like diary entries like quite easy to read, and I find like it's kind of quite interesting, and it's always done in a way like that they're quite short and punchy. Don't try read when like it's really loud, because like I feel like you need to be able to concentrate. And also like start a book club, or like find someone that you can both do like start a book together, because then that's quite nice, because you can chat about the book, and just like gets you back on that reading horse.
I thought those were really good. I would say my tip would be if you're in a reading rut, find a book that you just know you're going to enjoy. So if that's for you, that's thrillers. For me, that would be like something with a women-led narrative based around, I don't know, complex friendship or family or something like that. And actually my big tip would be, I do kind of believe in, if the book is not gripping you, if you're not enjoying the book, you can put the book down and you can start a new book. There's no rules. No one's going to like give you a whack on the head and be like, you're bad at reading. I think that if the book is not something that you're really loving and enjoying, there's no shame in putting it down.
If it's not serving you,
there's no shame.
No.
And if that's going to stop you completely, if it's going to paralyze you, then it's way better for your brain and for your learning and for your reading in general, just to pick up something that does.
So the next question is books that you would recommend a woman in their 20s read.
Love that. Okay. I immediately thought of a book by Nora Ephron called I Feel Bad About My Neck. She is a writer and she wrote Sleepless in Seattle and When Harry Met Sally. But she also was a journalist and an author. And it's basically like a compilation of musings, kind of like Joan Didion-esque in the way that she writes, but sort of short personal essays. And it's actually one of the last books she wrote before she sadly died when she was quite young. She was 60. And it's sort of her musing on life now as an older woman, but also talking about when she was a younger woman and all the things she'd learned. And I just think it's amazing. And it opens with this essay on how when you get older, suddenly you have to look and think and obsess about your neck. And yeah, there's also a really interesting one of kind of controversial on her experience with like rent controlled apartments in New York and on The Perfect Bag. And I just think it is mandatory reading.
Guys, I'm yet for Maisie to mention a book that I've heard of yet.
That's okay, Queen. This is good though. This is the range of womanhood. This is the duality. We have different tastes.
Okay, so I know Maisie's definitely read this book, and it is Everything I Know About Love by
Dolly Alderton.
Queen Dolly Alderton.
Love.
Oh my God, I read this and I was like, this is me. This is me.
Ellen, sometimes, because our reading taste is so different, when we both love a book, I feel like it's like, I
know.
It's like the most iconic book of all time. And I also love Everything I Know About Love by Dolly Alderton.
It's just like so real. Like it's just like that feeling of like being young and frustrated and love and friends. And yeah, it is a 10 out of 10 good read. And I love that it's actually kind of based on Dolly's life, which makes it even better.
There's also a section in it which is literally ingrained in my brain, and she does a pros and cons list of getting a boyfriend. And I honestly feel like I should get it up and read it because some of it's so real, but some of it's like they have to listen to me talk about my day. And I remember being like, wait, this is so real.
There was 2 parts which really struck out at me from this book. And it was, number 1, it's love is a quiet, reassuring, relaxing, pottering, pedantic, harmonious hum of a thing. Something you can easily forget is there, even though its palms are outstretched beneath you in case you fall, which I really liked because I think especially in this modern day and age, it's really easy to think that like love is like this thing that you're chasing and like the butterflies in your chest.
Really extreme and full of big highs and big lows.
And kind of toxic because like I feel like TV glamorizes that because it is exciting. So yeah, it was just a nice reminder that that is actually what we should all be striving for. And yeah, I think it's easy to think that it's something boring and that it should be like that, but that is not what love is.
Yeah, that's actually so
and I've
nice.
just got one more, which is nearly everything I know about love I've learned from my long-term friendships with women, which I really relate with because my therapist actually told me you need to spend more time with women. And I could not relate more.
Retweet.
I feel like when I start getting antsy and feeling like shit, I've realized it's because I haven't seen my girls in a while. So yeah, women are love. Love is women.
Huge quote.
And I really want to make sure I included this, which is another book I think every single woman in their 20s should read. And I would say it's a bit like the sister to Everything I Know About Love. And I can't believe it's not more popular. It's called Adelaide.
Oh, I've literally never heard of that.
Oh my God, I think about it still. It was one of those books that once you finish reading, you like mourn like the end of the book. Like,
what is it about?
It's just about this woman in this like situationship, and it's set in London, and it doesn't really have a happy ending. Not gonna lie. It's by Genevieve Wheeler, and it is just so good.
Do you think I would like it?
I think you would. Again, if you liked Everything I Know About Love, I think you would like this. It talks about like the highs and lows of lots of, like just living in London, you know, the despair and the depression of your first early years of living in London. Yeah, I think it really struck a chord. Next question is to Maisie. And what do you think the main pop girls are reading?
Wow, I saw this question on Goodreads and it really reminded me, and I don't think I've ever said this publicly anywhere, so this is fresh off the press, but when I was very lucky and got to be a support on the Eras tour, I really wanted to get Dr. Taylor Swift a present to say thank you, but obviously what do you get the woman who has everything? And so I, on the day of, texted my manager because I was already at the stadium, and I was like, hey, could you go to Brick Lane Bookshop and get her some books and get her a little Brick Lane Bookshop tote bag? So I got her, and I had to go back to my text to remember what books I got her, but I got her a Wendy Cope poetry book. I got her The Idiot by Elif Batuman, and I got her Bluebeard's Egg by Margaret Atwood. And I got her a Brick Lane Bookshop tote bag, and I wrote her a letter, and I got to give them to her when I met her. And she was so sweet and was like, I can't wait to read these. And who knows if she ever did, but just know Taylor Swift, Dr. Taylor Swift, has got a Brick Lane Bookshop tote bag, hopefully, somewhere in her house.
Slay.
Isn't that so sweet?
Yeah. Why did you get her poem books?
Well, obviously, as a big fan and an avid listener, she writes in such a lyrical, poetic way, and I know she reads poetry, and Wendy Cope is my favourite poet, and she's sort of British and not one of the massive poets like Mary Oliver is, so I thought maybe she wouldn't have read Wendy Cope, and so it's like a teeny little book, and I was like, maybe she won't have read this and she'll like it.
You didn't want to get her The Housemaid?
No, at that point I hadn't read The Housemaid.
Taylor, if you're listening, girl, I know you love I know you'd love The Housemaid.
Write in if your name is Taylor Allison Swift and you've read The Housemaid. Ellen, what's your favourite non-fiction?
Okay, so this is so unserious. Like, this is so... what the hell? My favourite non-fiction book is called The Therapy Crouch, and it's by Abby Clancy and Peter Crouch. They do a really funny podcast called The Therapy Crouch, and like I don't know why I have this weird obsession with them both. Like she is such a queen. Like I just love how like this stunning queen model ended up with like Peter Crouch, who's so funny, and like fair enough, like he's so like him being so funny just makes him fit, and he's tall, and like, and just the dynamic, and like they're always arguing, and I'm just like, I am Abby in every situation. And yeah, I just really love them, so I got their book.
and you enjoyed it?
I loved it.
5 stars?
Yeah.
Oh my god, well, I can't say I've heard of the book. I vaguely know of the people. Is he a footballer?
Yeah.
Oopsies. But yeah, I guess it's good to see yourself reflected in works of art, isn't it?
I know so much lore about Abby Clancy and Peter Crouch now.
Hyperfixation.
Yeah, that was a real hyperfixation from my part. But what about you, Queen?
I know, well, now you've got me thinking about, I don't really read much non-fiction.
What about the Jeanette McCurdy one? I heard that's good.
I haven't read the Jeanette McCurdy book. Maybe we should both read that. Maybe we would both like that.
Yeah,
I feel like we would.
That's really good.
Yeah, I feel like that might be also a good intersection of our tastes. Cousins, let us know if you think we would both like that book, and be honest.
I know this is slightly on a tangent, but there are some books that I think Maisie would really like, and that is The Nightingale, because it's about 2 sisters and it's World War, and I just know you'd like it.
Maybe I'll do it next.
So next question is, what book shaped your teenage years?
This was an easy answer for me, and I have to say it would be The Twilight Saga by Stephanie Meyer. And you know what? I actually stand by these books as pieces of literature. I genuinely think I read my favourite was the third one, Eclipse. And I genuinely think I read it like upwards of 30 times. And I distinctly remember, for the girls who get it, the moment, the chapter when they're in the tent and it's Jacob, Bella and Edward. And there's like this beef going on in the tent in the middle of the snow. But you know what? Unreal world building, excellent prose. I haven't read them in recent times, but I probably should to see if I stand by this opinion. But genuinely, I think Twilight, maybe not underrated because it's very rated, but informative for me in my teenage years, and also just iconic. Ellen, that defined your teenage years, and I know. Can we do it on 3, 2, 1? Because I just know what you're gonna say.
3, 2, 1. Hunger Games. Guys, I feel like it's my brand at this point. Like, I bloody loved them, and guys, I'm not gonna lie, I haven't read like the latest one.
Neither have I. We should read that.
Yeah, we've got quite a few that I think we've got some synergies here.
We've got some Twinhood synergies.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But another book that like really stands out to me as one that I really loved, and that was Hetty Feather by Jacqueline Wilson. Yeah. I feel like every girl born in the UK in like the 90s/early 2000s, like Jacqueline Wilson was the GOAT.
Yeah.
And like for
Hot
me,
girls now grew up on Jacqueline Wilson.
Honestly. And also I'd like to give a shout out to, do you remember Kathy Cassidy?
Yes, I do. What did she write?
I stand by this with my whole heart. The girls that read books by Kathy Cassidy are hot now. Like, they are just hot now.
Yeah, best personalities.
Honestly, it was a bit like Jacqueline Wilson, but why do I think it's maybe like it was a bit more like X-rated?
Yeah, maybe it was. It was a bit sexier.
Yeah, it was a bit like cool girl. Angel Cake and Ginger Snaps. I don't know why, but those are the books that seem to like ring a bell with
You've
me.
really hit the pentagon there in my brain. Like that's really unlocked things I didn't even remember.
It's like that. It's like so far back. But yeah, I'd say those books are like nostalgic for me.
I have a core memory of being on a holiday somewhere, like by a pool, and looking over and you were just there like face down in your Hunger Games book.
I read them like when I was on holiday.
I think you read all of them in one holiday and then you never read again.
Yeah, literally. I really said, guys, I'm bowing out now.
Yeah.
Like
you did what needed to be done.
Yeah, like I could not peak above the Hunger Games. Okay, Maisie, so I'm going to ask you a quite controversial question in the world of books.
Mm-hmm.
And what is on your DNF, which for all our readers who are not on Book Talk, it's did not finish?
Okay, this is a hot take. And I actually did finish it because I just decided to stick my head down and get it done because I was so far through and it was on a plane. But Intermezzo by Sally Rooney.
I hear that a lot.
And I love Sally Rooney. I love Normal People. I love Conversations with Friends. And it's the way that the book is written. It's split into two parts, two brothers. And
see, you've already lost me there.
Yeah, with the two
brothers,
parts.
two
also
men.
Two men. I know. It was a crazy concept. And one of the brothers was way more readable than the other brother. I found lots of people said that. One of the brothers, there was much more of a lightness and a more of a easiness to reading his perspective. But yeah, I tell people, when people ask me if they should read it, I say, I'm going to be honest, unless you're a fan of sort of really having to put in some hard graft to get through a book, which maybe you are. But if you're not, then I don't recommend Intermezzo.
I would hate that.
I wouldn't recommend it to you.
So let's make this question semi-quick. Mm-hmm. But is there a book that you would recommend to the cousins and one that they might not have known? Well, actually, all the books no one knows of. But like a really like niche one that you feel like is in the corner of the universe of Book Talk.
It's behind me. It's called Swan Song. It's by Kaylee Greenberg Jetcott, I think. And it's about Truman Capote and his sort of fall from grace in American high society. And I loved it. And it was really addictive. And I haven't really seen it on Book Talk, but I feel like Book Talk girls would actually love it. So that's my recommendation. Ellen, you go.
Slay. Okay, my book I'd recommend is The Grace Year by Kim Liggett. And it's basically like The Hunger Games meets Handmaid's Tale. And it's like a Hunger Games with only women and they're all fighting to the death. And it's kind of like feminist girl power / Hunger Games gore.
Huge genre.
What more would you want from a book? But yeah, I don't see, I mean, it is, I'm looking here, it is a New York Times bestseller, but I feel like I don't see it enough. A burning question from the cousins is, what are you currently reading?
Well, guys, this is even more exciting for the cousins because I have just finished my last book. I finished it literally yesterday. It was Dark Matter. And before that, it was called Audition by Katie Kitamura. Loved it. And so I'm looking for a new book. By the time this airs, I probably will have read another book. But please, another thing you could leave us below is give me a recommendation. I feel like by now you must have a really good grasp of my reading taste, and I'd love a rec.
I think it's 1,000 Splendid Suns. It has to be.
Maybe that will be what I read in between this and the next episode.
I think you can get it done. It's pretty quick.
I reckon I can. What are you reading?
How many books do you read a week?
I think last week I read like 4.
4 books a week? That's crazy.
So.
Okay, so I read around 1 book a week, and that I would consider is quite fast.
I know, but right now all I'm doing is plotting MP3. Like I've got a lot of spare time. Well, that I plot most hours of the day, but there are still some extra hours of the day.
That's a talent. Like, are you even reading? Are you just like going like that, like skimming it?
I'm just highly evolved.
Oh my god!
I know. Ellen, what book are you reading right now?
So I'm reading, I don't know why, it's like a big unveiling, like it's literally like
the book on her Kindle.
It is Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir. He wrote The Martian. So I am currently, 40% through. and I really like it so far. It is quite technical, but I kind of, when you just kind of vibe along and you're like, if it's important, like they'll mention it again.
Yeah, love that from you.
I think that's a good bit of advice someone told me. If it's really important, they'll mention it again.
Yeah, that's actually a great piece of advice.
It's space vibes, and it's going to be a film starring Ryan Gosling next year.
You heard it here first on Twinhood.
Because I never used to be that person that would read the book before the film, and then you'd go to the film and like you'd be like, have you read the book? And I'd be like, no, I haven't. And they're like, you should really read the book.
That'll be me.
And that'll be me next year. I'll be like, have you read the book? I'll be like, I have read the book actually. So yeah, here is to us reading the books. Last question is, Maisie, if MP3 was a book, what book would it be?
What comes to mind is like Pride and Prejudice, Jane Eyre, like old English classics, sort of like beautiful and witty and romantic.
Guys, I so disagree. I think it's Kathy Cassidy, Ginger Snaps.
Oh my God. Well, I guess that's the duality of my music. There's something for everyone.
Yeah. Before we go, we are doing a special edition of our much loved segment that me and Maisie still not really sure if we understand the concept, but we still love the segment. It's Twinning or Binning, and it's obviously book related. So Twinning or Binning, deciding what to read based on the book cover.
Well, now that I'm reading on my Kindle, I feel like book cover is a bit less important because it's not so present and it's also not so physical. So I'd say I'm probably not judging a book by its cover.
See, I'd say I am judging a book by its cover, because any book that has like the childish, cartoony, like a lot of romance books have these. And I honestly think like, is this book made for a child? Is this like so cartoony? And I don't know. I just feel like I don't want to read that.
Fair enough. So I guess we are 3, 2, 1 binning. We're not twinning on that.
Next one is Twinning or Binning, Dark Matter.
So this is a sci-fi apocalyptic book we both read recently. Ellen loved it. I did enjoy it, but I guess if anything, it could have been longer, and I felt it could have been, it could have gone into more depth. I actually feel like there was a really good idea then, and there was, I could have actually had more of it, more substance.
Yeah, I feel like when it ended as well, when you're on your Kindle, this is so niche, but like sometimes it ends at like 97%. Sometimes it ends at like 100%. So like I was like, okay, like we've still got a bit longer. And then it's like...
It ended at like 94%.
Yeah, I was like, what the frick?
We were gaslit by Kindle.
But yeah, I really liked Dark Matter. I think as a concept, it was really good. And it was very like interstellar-y, which I quite liked. I did have to get my head around it when like Jason 351 appeared.
Spoilers. But also not, because you won't understand what she's talking about.
No. So yeah, 3, 2, 1, twinning.
Bin twin.
Yeah.
Bin twin.
Fucking hell.
Sounds like Ben 10. I asked the cousins on Instagram for some books that they could ask us to do twinning or binning with. And actually a good friend of ours, Nav, sent in a book that I feel like is a great one. And it is Twinning or Binning, Red, White, and Royal Blue. I bet you can guess what our response is going to be.
Obvi, twinning.
Literal goosebumps hit my flesh.
Yeah.
What a book. What a storyline. Absolutely insane in all ways. Was obsessed though.
It was too
I think that was a deep COVID, like deep, who even am I? But I'm obsessed with everyone.
I was just obsessed at how they like get down to business so early in the book. I feel like they did like 0.5 lead up where it went from like hatred to like, oh, and now they're fucking.
Yeah. And that's my favorite type.
Yeah, it was crazy.
So I guess 3, 2, 1, twinning. Okay, and one last twinning or binning is a great one, and it is The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo.
Oh my God. Twinning.
Yeah, I think twinning. Love. That's one of those book talk books that's actually as good as people say it is, I think.
It was so good. And it was not what I expected from the cover. Like, I don't know what I expected. That was actually one that was in my book club. And all the girls loved it. Like
gripping, romantic, mysterious, had real depth, had real like emotion to it. Yeah, love.
And you know me, I don't normally like the like flipping between like different stages. But loved it. I feel like they kept it really like concise. They didn't like they spent long on the eras that everyone wanted to spend on.
Mm.
And yeah, it was perfect. I gave it a 5 stars on Goodreads.
I gave it a 5 stars, I think.
Oh my God, you had it here
Wow.
first. Lots of people, like my friends, cried with Evelyn Hugo. I'm not going to say why, because spoilers. But that got me thinking, I can't cry at books. It could be the saddest book. So like, cousins, like, please recommend in the comments a book that'll make me cry, because I want to feel something.
Do you know what book made me cry when I was a teenager? Divergent. Something about that is so deeply funny.
Like, do you cry from books?
No, the only book I cried at literally in recent history it's up there. It's by Maggie O'Farrell. It's called After You've Gone. I actually think you would cry. Sort of a romance, sort of, but it's so sad. I literally bawled. I'm gonna make you read it, see if that makes you cry.
Yeah. Challenge, make Ellen cry, because I just feel like
your hair looks bad.
I don't know. Like, I really like. I heard that. I really like the characters, but like, I don't know. Like, I just. Even Evelyn and Hugo, where like something very quite traumatic happened.
Didn't get you going.
Didn't cry.
Cousins, comment below a book that will make Ellen cry. That is your mission. Let's get it. Well, cousins, thank you so much for joining us along our reading journey this week. We've loved it. Have you loved it?
I've loved it so much. This must have been a tough episode for the girlies that don't read. Leah Michelle. I hope
Sorry,
you made it
Leah Michelle. And cousins, let us know if you enjoyed it, because we love doing stuff like this. And with all the MP Book Club conversation on my mind, it makes me think maybe we should make this more of a regular thing, us talking about books. I don't know how or I don't know how yet, but
Maisie's got some more plotting to do.
I've got some more plotting to be doing, because it's just so fun getting to speak about our shared love together.
Jesus wept. 4 books in a week. Like, you quite literally booked and busy.
Wait, and on that note,
it's been real, guys.
It's been so fun. Leave all your comments below on Spotify. You know how much we love that.
We'll be back to regular
twinhooding.
And
on that note, we wish you goodbye.
Bye, guys.
Bye. Love you.